Okay. So this is going to be such a good one, you guys. Today we have on Faith from Faith Finds Fruit, and she has had one of the biggest transformations I've ever seen in my entire life. I was just showing my hair girl here before she came, and she was even like, "Oh my God." And I've done over 300 videos on this channel, most of them being interviews, and I've never seen anything like this. I've had obviously so many amazing interviews, but Faith, you've had such a huge transformation, eating only grapes for 104 days. And then I think you've done some other fruit cleanses as well. And I think right now you're on day 6 of only juice. So this raw food path has completely transformed your mind, body, and soul. We have so much to talk about. You guys are going to want to watch this one right through. And let's hop right into it. Hey, Faith, how's it going?
I'm amazing. Probably the best I have ever been in my life. I'm young, I'm still very young, but I feel like I'm at the top that I could ever be at, And I mean, I'm rising day by day, but I'm just grateful to be here to share like this awareness that I now have on this lifestyle to anyone who's like searching for themselves,
And how old are you? I would guess 22. That's what I was guessing before I know, but I don't know.
So my birthday is actually coming up. I don't celebrate my birthday, but I'm gonna be 24 years now.
Well, yeah. And it's funny because so I probably would have put some pictures of you before and after in the intro, and I'll put a couple on the screen right now. But it's funny because my friend who was here just before, she was even saying how much older you look in the before picture. It's crazy. And she was like, she looks so much younger after. So what happened here? Like what first inspired you? Because this all started with eating only grapes for 104 days, right?
No, it did not.
Okay, so how did all this start?
This is a very in-depth story. So sit back, relax, grab yourself something to drink, eat. I don't know, because it may be a long one, but it started from, I finally left like a toxic household like that I grew up in, right? Like abuse, trauma, all of that. And I made it into a safe home, which I'm now in. I'm grateful to be in. And anyone who's been through trauma, I feel like if you haven't had that time to process it yet and to release it, your body, it stays in that flight or flight, even when you're gone, even when you've removed yourself. And so I was still in that fight or flight. Like I was stressed out. It was causing bodily reactions everywhere. Like I was getting heart palpitations. The stress was crazy. I was getting acne, like digestive issues. And that started to make me freak out because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't realize my mind was so powerful that it was creating physical symptoms, And so I was rushing from doctor to doctor. I turned into this like hypochondriac with my stress. And the doctors were sending me home like, no, you're fine. Like nothing's wrong with you. They weren't pulling up anything on the scans. My blood tests were fine. And for once in my life, doctors were probably right. I was stressed. I was probably dehydrated, like they were saying. But my mind was so powerful, which I had learned along this journey, that it ended up actually creating issues in the body. And the doctors, again, they still never found anything. But the way my digestive issues were, the pain I was feeling, I was getting pain in my liver area that radiated into my back. I was getting pain on the other side of my pancreas that radiated to my back. The acne, I had never experienced acne, and I was getting acne, which if you know anything about your skin, it's the third kidney. And so if you have acne issues, you need to start looking at the kidneys. They're probably not filtering properly. But anyways, with the doctors, they started declining my insurance. And so every time I would show up, they would be like, oh, we can't take you today. And I'd be like, but y'all called me yesterday and told me like my insurance was accepted, right? Yeah. This happened six times in a row.
Wow.
And by the 6th time, it's kind of like, okay, girl, some higher power is getting in the way at this point and telling you to take a step away from these hospital visits. They're not helping you. And when I really looked around at everyone who was dealing with any health ailment, like in the body, I was noticing that they weren't even healing with going to the doctor. They were all on medication. And the thing with doctors is, how are they going to keep making money and keep a client if they heal you, right? And so I feel like the bigger power in my life, my highest self, really guided me to break away from that and learn to heal myself. And I was like, you know what? I give up on this. Show me what I need to do then, because I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. I've always been in control. I've always tried to be in control. And now I'm letting that go. So what do? Right? It's crazy because I'm not a big fan of social media, but social media has played a big role on my path. I was on Reddit and I saw someone mention the medical medium. Have you heard of
Yeah, of course.
like him?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, okay, cool. Like he talks about a lot of healing in the body with like raw foods. Like throughout the day, you're eating fruits and then smoothies. And then at nighttime or for dinner, you'll eat like salads and stuff like that. You're still getting away from the fats, the meats, you know, the sugars, the processed foods, all of that. So I did that for about a month and a half. I was feeling okay on that path, but I felt like there was something deeper, you know, even deeper that I could go into. And so I was like, okay, you know, I've gotten comfortable in this, but what else could be sent my way to do? You know, can I accelerate this healing? And I was on TikTok and immediately I started getting videos on Yaki Awakened. And do you know Yaki?
Yeah, of course.
Amazing. I love him so much. I'm so grateful to come across him. And I was learning a lot about the fruits and the different healing properties in each fruit and the mono eating and how powerful it is when you're trying to heal, and even juicing as well. And just all of these different things that people don't think about when you're in the standard American diet. Like when you think about going on all fruits, you think that's insanity, you know, because we grow up with the conditionings and the beliefs that, you know, the milk and the dairy and the meat and the bread is all a balanced diet. You know, when you look at the word diet, it literally has the word die in it.
True.
I'm not, you know, I'm not on a diet. This is my lifestyle because it brings me life, you know, but I was learning a lot about grapes from him, and I learned about how powerful they were because they're an astringent fruit. And if you know anything about astringency, it pulls out all the mucus and the acid buildup in the body. And a lot of diseases in the body, and inflammation, aches and pains, it comes from built up acids and mucus. So if these grapes that pull out acids and mucus, you know, do that for the body, then it's a powerful healer, right? And I didn't know what was happening in the body, but I do know there was a lot of inflammation going on, you know? And so I was like, let me hop on the grapes. But before I hopped onto the grapes, I did a 6.5 day dry fast.
What?
So
dry fast? Oh my gosh. I thought you said water for a second. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, I want to say to anybody do dry and water fast, I think you need to like consult someone. Just like be careful with types of fast.
I'm not recommending dry fasting to anyone, especially for that amount of time.
That's a while. Yeah. Wow. So how was your experience?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And if, you know, you're spiritually aligned and connected with your higher self, you just become way more connected, aware, grounded, and like, I don't know, just everything flows to you so beautifully during that experience because you're solely focused on the now. You don't have anything to think about, like, what am I going to eat later? You have no distraction. It's just you and the body and the mind, you know, and you're sitting there in it. But I did 6.5 days. Again, I don't recommend it. I know some people have messaged me telling me, you know, how to get into it. Do your research. I didn't jump into anything without learning about it first. You know, I didn't just blindly go into it. You have to apply knowledge to obtain the wisdom, right? But anyways, after the 6.5 days of the dry fast, I hopped onto the grapes because of all the things I learned from Yaki. And I was on grapes for a few days and I started questioning to myself, how long am I going to go on this? You know, I didn't really set a date. Like, am I going to do this for a week, a month? I don't know. All I know is I want to heal, right? Yeah. at the time, I still hadn't gotten to the point where I realized my mind needed healing as well, not just the body, but I was very adamant on my body becoming healed. And I ended up coming across Bobby Smith's group, Fruit Up.
I love Bobby.
You know,
Been on the channel before. So Bobby's the one who told me about you. So that's how I first heard you. Bobby DM me. And you gotta have Faith on. She's so dope. She's had such a huge transformation. That's how I first heard about you. But I'll try to put a picture of Bobby's before and after on the screen right now. He has had a huge transformation on fruit. And I think he's amazing. I love Bobby. And he posted something so inspiring that I just thought of the other day. He posted a picture that someone had taken of him at the liquor store at like 9 a.m. back before he had his huge transformation. I'll try to put that picture on the screen right now. And it was so inspiring because he was like, this was somebody just somehow grabbed a photo of him, I guess. And he was like, this was me before, like so unhappy. He was like literally grabbing booze every morning just to drink through the day. And it's so crazy to see where he is now, such a huge transformation. But yeah, that's how I first heard about you.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him. And you see all these other people in this lifestyle, and you realize that this lifestyle brings a lot of vulnerability out of us. We share a lot of things about ourselves that most people would want to hide, or they don't want to be judged for. But we see the truth and the beauty within it. And so we want everyone to know, you know, we want everyone to not be living in fear anymore of being in their authentic selves, to know that they may used to be a person that they don't agree or align with, but look who we are now, you know? So I love Bobby so much. Bobby, Kev, Ramon, all of them in the Fruit Up group. But I came across the Fruit Up group, and after asking myself, how long am I going to go on grapes? You know, Bobby had just finished the 108 days of watermelon. And he had mentioned he had just posted 103 days on grapes. He was going to start. Yeah. I misread it. I thought I saw 104 days. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to stick with 104 days. But I was like, oh, let me do this journey with him. You know, I just started the grapes. If he's going to be going for this long, that's my sign, because I was asking, you know, I put the question out there to the universe. There was my number. And so I was hopping on YouTube almost every night. Bobby was going live eating his grapes. I was eating along with him. You know, we were buddies, little YouTube buddies. He had no idea who I was, but I absolutely appreciated him, you know, sharing those moments, you know, because I felt less alone during that time. Because I don't have anyone around me that is in this or would understand, you know, this was a really solitude and sacred experience for me. But yeah, so 104 days, I experienced healing crises, I want to say, because I know people were asking. Earlier, I mentioned that I was getting pain, like in the liver area that radiated to the back, and on the other side as well, that radiated to the back, digestive issues, acne. Well, all of those symptoms got 10 times worse. Wow. Before they felt better. And not only did it happen once, but it happened twice, 3 times. It came in waves. And each time the healing crisis happened, like, I can't lie, I felt scared, you know? I mean, we're taught to believe when you feel a pain in the body, something is wrong. But it actually means that the body is working on that area and it's healing you, you know? And so I pushed through those healing crises. And every time after each healing crisis I experienced, I felt even better. Like, so if I was on my 5th healing crisis, right? Like, it was still a bit painful, but I noticed it wasn't as bad as like the previous healing crisis I experienced. And I knew if I pushed through, you know, I was coming out in an even more healthy state. But that not only was the healing crisis in my body, but the healing crisis happened in my mind. You know, fruits, the grapes especially, put me in a position where I was face to face with myself now. And I had to face my traumas. I had to face everything that was putting me in the position of who I didn't want to be anymore. And it was scary. It's hard to look at yourself and to say, you know what, like, I'm not perfect. And I struggle and I've done things that I don't agree with, but let's overcome these things, and let's work through them. But how do you work through them? I learned to meditate. I learned to stretch my body, become one with my body, go outside and ground myself barefoot, eating plays a huge role too. When you're eating life, it pours life into you. And so I really felt like if I wasn't working on the mind, my body wasn't even in a state of healing. I felt like I was healing slower if I was like in a state of depression or trying to like ignore like the bad thoughts. But when I was working through it, journaling, getting it all out, I noticed my body doing amazing, incredible things. It started accelerating in its healing. And that's why I'm just huge on teaching people, if you can take control of the mind, you can take control of your whole life. A lot of people are letting the mind control them. They associate themselves with the mind. But when you really think about it, you are actually only the awareness behind the eyes. You're the spirit within the body. You're the observer. You're the watcher. You're not the thoughts that are coming through. You're not even this vessel that you are in. When we die, this body gets left behind and your soul goes away. It detaches. And so I had to detach myself away from the pain too, because I wasn't that pain. The pain was separate from me now. And so even though it may have felt painful, I didn't let it control my day to day. I was still going to let these thoughts be more positive and have a better outlook on my future or whatever, because when you feel a pain in the body, you may start thinking negatively, like, oh, I'm not okay. And then if you're thinking and believing you're not okay during like a healing crisis, and you learn how powerful your thoughts are, then what makes you think you are going to end up being okay? Because you keep saying, I'm not okay. So, that was a whole thing. But I know a lot of people were also curious on like seeded or seedless grapes. And I just want to say, grab whatever you can. Like, it wasn't a huge issue for me. I tried to find seedless or seeded. If you have seeded, grab seeded. It's amazing. It has extra healing benefits in it. I was telling Bobby, it almost acts as like an extra scrubber inside your intestines. So it's kind of like you have a sponge for a plate, right? The grape is like the soft sponge, removing all the mucoid plaque, the candida, parasites, all that. And then the seeds are harder. So it's almost like the wired sponge scrubbing your insides because they're little hard pieces, breaking off the stubborn ones that don't want to come out of the body. And so
you just ate grapes, right? Like, did you juice them too, or just eat them? I did a grape cleanse once too. I was telling you before we got on here. I think I made it to 28 days. I'm pretty sure I did. I have a video on it. I'll link it down below. But I've done a lot of different cleanses, like watermelon. I've never done dry or water fasting. Like I said, I think you have to be more careful with that. And I only think about that too, because I interviewed Fred Bichy in New York recently. He's like a 50-year vegan, 94 years old, Dr. Fred Bichy. And he said through his time, he's seen quite a few people pass away dry fasting. So I just worry with that. Like, I can see doing it for like a day or two, but I just worry. That's why I always try like put the disclaimer out there. I mean, do what is best for you. Obviously, these things have like, just do what's best for you is what I want to say with that. But with the grapes, that felt like I've done watermelon cleansing, fruit cleansing, juice cleansing, but the grape cleansing felt like the deepest cleanse I've ever done in my life. And like, I grew up around a lot of secondhand smoke in the 80s, and it was like a lot of smoke. So like that felt really good in my lungs too. Like, I didn't personally ever smoke at all, but it felt so cleansing, like nothing else I've ever experienced. And at the same time, it felt like after a while, the hardest cleanse for me to stick to. So like, how did you manage to stick to 104 days? Because like a lot of people I think would have given up. And do you feel like this is what really did like a lot of your transformation? Was the grape cleanse? Was this like the big thing, you think?
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting that you said it helped your lungs, first of all, because when you look at the grapes, it looks like the lungs, like the pulmonary, all that. So that's pretty cool. But on the 104 days, what really kept me going is, again, taking control over this mind, because what really is craving the foods? I had to take control over the body too, because I was letting the body take control. over me, who I really am. And it's kind of like looking at a drug addict in a way, and them getting away from that drug. They're always going to remember how good that drug made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because they've been sober for 10 years doesn't mean they don't remember how great that fix felt. You know, I'm always going to remember how good those foods tasted from the sad American diet. I say sad, the standard American diet. I'm always going to remember what the pizza tasted like, the spaghetti, all those foods that I crave, right? But I know what I wanted, and I have never gone through with anything in my life. I've never had a goal and actually went through all the way. And this wasn't only being done for some external gratification. This was finally being done for something internal. This is my life we're talking about. And so, I mean, it really just had to do with how important am I to me?
Mm-hmm.
Every day I had to wake up and ask myself that. How important am I to me? And if I'm not important to myself, then sure, I mean, I probably would have gone and ate foods when I craved it. But the thing is I don't judge anyone who does have a slip up. You know, I don't see slip ups as a failure. But the only thing I do see as an issue is if you slipped up and then you continue to stay in it. You continue to stay in this slip up. You don't pick yourself back up and continue. Because when you pick yourself back up and continue, I still see that as a success story, you know. But I was just so determined. I impressed myself, to be honest, when I really look at it, because I'm like, girl, you really had some next level determination to make it that far. Because I would say there was 2 weeks within the whole 104 days that I was straight up craving everything you could imagine. I would come across videos of people eating the foods I used to like eating, and it would make me crave it even more. And I was like, this isn't healthy. Mm-hmm. How is consuming these videos through the eyes not just as unhealthy as eating it? Mm-hmm. You know, the body doesn't know any different than what you're seeing and thinking and actually doing it. So I had to cut like those videos off my feed. Like, I'm blocking everybody. I need to ground myself, come back into, you know, oneness with myself. Why am I on this journey? I may have not slipped up with eating, but I did slip up with like watching and wanting and like having this. It's almost like I was satisfying the craving through the videos. Mm-hmm. It's so weird, but yeah, it's so weird. But yeah, it was just the 2 weeks of that. But like I said, I feel like during the 2 weeks of craving the foods, being out of tune with my body during those 2 weeks, I didn't feel like I was even healing being on all the grapes. Mm-hmm. I feel like it completely stopped. Wow. Because I took the focus off myself and what I was really doing this for. The respect I had towards the grapes, because I have respect towards fruits now. I see them as a part of me. I have respect for nature now because I'm a part of it, you know? And I was so detached from the grapes during those 2 weeks that, you know, I feel like the grapes were like, well, we're not going to help you right now. We don't feel respected. Yeah. And people may hear that and think it's crazy. Like, this girl's talking to her fruits like they're like it's a person, you know, but it is alive. It is alive. You have to look at these fruits as alive because they hold all the minerals, the vitamins and nutrients that you need. They go into your body and do exactly what your body is asking for. Like, how could you consider that a dead food? Mm-hmm. You know? So, yeah, it was just a journey I wasn't going to stop. It wasn't going to stop. And I didn't know if after the 104 grapes, if I was going to be done with the fruits, you know? But the more and more I kept going, I was like, this is made for me. And people are supposed to be on the fruits. I've never felt more alive. And even during the healing crises, detox symptoms, I felt more alive than ever. And I still felt like I could get up and go plant like trees all throughout my garden. And I just had so much energy. Now, don't get me wrong, there were days I didn't have energy and I didn't want to leave the bed. And I showed myself grace during those times. I allowed myself to be lazy, but I had so much energy. Not just energy in the body, but my mind felt light. I felt airy. I feel like I am just living in my spirit now. And it's just a whole new frequency.
And you probably never felt like that before, right? Like, so you went from the standard American diet to all of this medical medium, grape cleansing, juice cleansing, like right from standard American to that, right? Must be a huge difference. Like, I'm sure before you didn't feel as connected to nature and as connected and as spiritual in all of this, or did you feel that way before?
So I know people call it like spiritual awakening, all of those terms and stuff. I definitely was aware and quote unquote awake before I had gone into all the fruits. So I very much have been in tune with myself my whole life, but it has not been as strong as it is today. And I'm not trying to sound selfish or egotistical, but I don't know anyone in my life who is as in tune with themselves as I am. And I walk around, and I say it because I'm proud of the example I'm exuding to the world, and fixing me, healing me, loving me, and doing all of these great things for myself is not only loving myself, it's putting love out there for everyone else. Being that example makes people question, is what they're doing what they want to be doing for themselves? It makes them think, oh, look at her. She's thriving. Wait, she ate 104 grapes? Or she ate grapes for 104 days? 104 grapes? No. She
a lot more than 104 grapes, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, she ate grapes for 104 days. That's it. And she looks like she reversed her age.
Yeah, you literally do. You look so much younger. It's so crazy. You look like such a different person. I can't even believe it. It's insane.
And, it's crazy too. My whole life is just flipped around in ways that I am so happy about. Like, I don't even go by my first name anymore. Like, my first name is Courtney, and I had created a Facebook account with my middle name as Faith because I didn't want anyone to find me. I was just kind of like, I wasn't even on social media. I was trying to stay hidden. I was on it for the Facebook marketplace. I was like, let me find a juicer because I didn't have a juicer at the time. People sell their stuff they don't use, on there. And so my name was Faith. And before I shared my story, it might have been after I shared my story, I was like, what's a cool name that I could put if this ever turned into a page? I don't care if this turns into a page. I don't care if this only reaches one person and saves maybe one person's life,
Yeah.
But what would I want the name to be? And I was like, what resonates with me? And fruit resonates with me. So I was like, Faith finds fruit, right? And it's amazing that it just came into fruition in that way, because I've always loved my middle name more than my first name.
It works.
I never liked my first name. So it just works out. And I'm like, not only am I anti-aged, just energetic. I used to have no energy. I could probably have stayed in bed for months on end, sleeping, got up and still never felt rejuvenated. Now I can probably sleep 4 hours throughout the night, get up and just maybe go on a run, just be out all day. Like I just want to be on the go, and I feel great. Like, I don't feel like I'm exerting myself too much at all, but yeah, I'm not even in the old body anymore. The old body is left behind.
Thank God you found this path, because like, who knows where you were headed if you didn't find this path, right?
If I were to have stayed in the mind, if I would have let the mind stay in the driver's seat of this body and control me, I would have been dead, probably. I'm not even going to lie. I was creating death in the body through my mind. And so if you can create death in the body through your mind, can you create life in the body with your mind? And that's exactly what I did, because it not only was it the grapes, but it took a lot of mental work to speak life back into myself as well and to believe it.
Like, what did a day in your life look like before? Like, what were you eating in a day before the transformation?
So I say standard. I was on the standard American diet. I was still vegan though. I wasn't eating meat, but I was still eating like the processed lab created meats that they're making now. That's still so horrible for you. If you look at the back of the ingredients list, you probably still can't read like half of the things that are on there. But I was eating probably stuff like that. I was eating a lot of like Cheez-Its and just quick to grab foods, prepackaged foods. And I was eating salads and stuff still, but I was a crazy like dressing addict. I loved like ranches and the honey mustards and just like the sweet sugary, all of that. So even though I was eating salads, it was covered in all the junk, you know. And the reason why I really was eating easy to grab foods was because I was so depressed. And in my mind, that I wasn't even really leaving my couch. I was stuck in one spot. I was stuck in one spot for like 3 months on end, having panic attacks and just in the corner, barely bathing myself or getting up because I was scared. I was scared of dying when I was the one who was creating the death. Girl, get a grip on yourself, you know? And I did, thankfully, because like I said, if you can create death in the body, can you create life?
You must literally feel like a different person. Like when I used to eat, like I used to eat standard American diet, but before I went raw, I was still like healthy, but I was like standard American diet still. And then when I went raw, like in 2016, it literally was like such a huge transformation, like internally. I can't even explain it. And I literally felt like a different person, like better than any drug or high or like anything. And it's literally look back and like I was a different person before. Do you feel like that with yourself too now?
You know, in a sense, I feel like I did kill her. She did die. And that body and that person doesn't exist anymore. That's why I do seem like a new person, because I am. And it's because I'm living in my most authentic, true self now. I'm not living in a fake, conditioned by the world, you know, person anymore. I'm in my truth now, and it's beautiful. And I can see how this lifestyle has been for you as well. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 41.
And you look absolutely amazing. Like you look like you look like you're 30, girl.
Thanks.
Like
I started when I was 34. I wish that I knew. See, you're so lucky you found this in your 20s. I wasted my 20s drinking and like eating crap food, drinking coffee all day, eating bagels, just like not healthy at all. And my health problems really started after I had my first daughter when I was 30. So it's so great you found this in your 20s. Like what a blessing. And you're on a juice cleanse right now, right? You said you're on a 6-day juice cleanse. And first I want to ask you before we touch on that. So like how much, because people will ask, how much weight have you lost through the whole journey of like the fruits and everything? It looks like a lot.
So I killed the old body, but I really did lose a whole body off of me as well. Yeah. My heaviest was 260 pounds, and I don't even consider that weight. It's waste.
Yeah.
It's built up toxins in the body and your lymphatic system is so backed up that it's causing you to gain quote unquote weight, but it's waste. And that is what it's making you sick, because you're not releasing any of it. It's the diet you're on that is creating all of this, you know, backup overflow in the body. But I was at 260, and on the grapes alone, I didn't weigh myself because honestly, I wasn't in it for what is my weight gonna be or whatever, because that's a whole thing I had to separate myself from too. I've always been so stuck in my image, what I look like, how the world perceives me. Am I impressing? Do people think I'm beautiful? And I was like, I'm also on a journey of self, you know, so I don't care how I end up looking. I don't care if I become so super tiny and people think I'm on drugs, because some people do think that, you know, and I don't care because they didn't live my experience. And it's hard to fake this. And when you truly read my story, see how I am, you would know I'm not on drugs. It's very apparent, you know?
For sure.
But I'm now at like 120.
Wow. So I would now. I'm 125. So that's you.
Okay.
Wow, you lost so much. So you literally lost like more than one of us. Like
140, right? Is that like
yeah, that's
140?
like 140. Holy. So that's like, yeah, that's crazy.
One of the main things, if I got anything from going to the doctors, it was that they told me I was constipated.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine how much, I was losing throughout the process because, when you're cleansing the body, you are going to have diarrhea. You're going to have many bathroom trips, and it's not going to be comfortable during a lot of the time, throughout it. But
it's a good thing. I think a lot of people think because I know from the channel, I get a lot of comments from people not wanting to do cleanses or juice cleansing or fruit cleansing or raw food because they're like, oh, I'll have to go to the bathroom more. But it's good because you're just getting out that old waste and you're getting things out and you feel so much better. So like, guys, it is worth it taking those extra trips to the bathroom. Do what we got to do to make it happen.
Yeah, it's a bad experience, but it's a beautiful experience because you're witnessing your body working for you. Mm-hmm. You're witnessing your body healing. You're witnessing your body removing the toxins for you because you're not doing it. The body has to do it. The body has to put in the work. And so you need to step aside and let the body do what it needs to do. You know, like, I don't care if it gave me a diarrhea for a year. Like I would have just dealt with it. My health means so much to me. Health really is wealth. That's what I've learned.
I agree 100%. And do you think you'll get to a point where you'll want to add in like greens or like different things like that? Or you think you'll stick with the fruit?
So as for right now, I've healed a lot of the issues I was having. But digestive issues, for one, that can take years to heal. And I don't think people understand that. It's a process. And even being on 104 days of grapes, 6.5 days dry fasting, I was on like 11 days of apples, and now I'm on like 6 days of juicing. I'm still fixing some digestive issues or healing things. I know I am. My nose is still running constantly. You might see me doing this a lot. And it's because mucus is literally still pouring out of my body today. Yeah. So I'm still detoxing, and I don't plan on really adding in greens until I know I'm at the most optimal point of my health and like relieving all the ailments I may have had. Mm-hmm. Because fruits are the healers and vegetables are the rebuilders. So what's crazy is I actually have learned that things such as Brussels sprouts, cabbage, okra, bell peppers, peas, those are all misclassified as vegetables, and those are fruits. Mm-hmm. You can literally make a salad out of all that, and you're eating a fruit. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But I do see myself maybe 5 years. I don't know. The thing is I take things day by day, and what I know for right now is that fruit saved my life. And for fruits to save my life, I'm just in this mindset of, I owe my life to life now, and fruits are the life. So I owe myself to the fruits. And I
love it. And there's some people that'll say, well, it's so extreme, only fruits or juicing or this and that. It's going to spiral you back to like binging or like the other way. So what do you have to say about that? Do you think you would ever go back that way?
No, I grew up my whole life with an eating disorder. Wow. I grew up my whole life not eating all day and then binging on everything in sight at night, maybe possibly multiple meals at once. And then I even would throw it up at times because it would make me feel better about myself, because I had a mother that I watched do that. It was like learned behavior for me that, it's very messed up. But I struggled with that my whole life. Food was an addiction, and being on fruits got rid of the addiction. I did have to fight the cravings, but I've even learned that if you're craving something as well, it could possibly be the parasites in your body craving, not actually you,
Somebody asking too, did she, because we have a bunch of good viewers questions, did she feel like she eliminated any parasites, mucoid plaque, or candida?
So I noticed at times my stool, which I know people are like, ew, why are you going to talk about stool? It's a part of the process.
Okay, we talk about it on this channel. I talk about it too. I've had parasites years ago when I wasn't even doing a parasite cleanse or anything. I did an enema because I was like, I was watching, I think I watched a Marcus Rothkrantz video where some people like talking about enemas. I was like, let me try doing an enema, see what happens. And then I saw Parasites and I was like, what the F? Like, what? And then so I started a Parasite cleanse from then, and I got rid of so many. It was insane. Like this was years ago. It was insane. So don't worry, we talk about it on this channel.
Yeah, no, there in most countries, it's actually protocol for everyone there to do parasite cleanses at least like once or twice a year. So what makes us think here in the US that we don't need to be doing parasite cleanses or removing, worms out of our body? We do.
Crazy.
We do. Everyone's walking around with them. You can get it.
And people always ask me, you guys, don't worry, I didn't see any that were living when I did my parasite cleanse, but did you see any parasites come out of you through all this or no?
So I wasn't like over analyzing of like, because I went from being a hypochondriac to, learning to heal my body on my own. So I didn't want to scare myself too much, because I was still healing the mind as well. I didn't know if I were to see those things, if I would get into a state of panic, even though it's a good thing to see come out of the body. Yeah. But I did notice a lot of mucus coming out for sure. Still to this day, the body holds so much mucus, like I said, waste, and it can take years to remove it all. But I know I removed some mucoid plaque. I saw like black, dark green, like substances come out, and I wasn't even eating that color. So it's like, there's no reason for that to show up, right? Unless it's like old, dead, old waste, old toxins. Maybe stubborn mucoid plaque that's just been stuck on my intestinal walls that haven't been removed until now. Parasites, I'm wanting to say I did see them come out of my skin. And yeah, so the thing that I've learned with parasites is, it may sound scary, but it just looks like pimples, like blisters almost on your skin. And my arm was super inflamed. I was getting bumps everywhere. And I was even getting bumps on the other side as well. And you can literally squeeze them and like white pus would come out, or it looked like white pus. But I've even seen a video of a woman explaining that if you're removing parasites, it can come out through the skin and it can look like a pimple being popped.
That makes sense. Wow.
Right. So I want to say that's how I saw them eliminated. I'm sure they came out through the stool as well, but I wasn't hyper fixated on trying to find worms in my stool. But I still take parasite like herbs right now, just in case, because when parasites are leaving the body, they'll try to leave eggs behind. And so you don't only want to detox for like 30 days, you want to go on for like 60, 90 so that you can get the original parasites out and the babies they left behind. So, yeah, that's my experience with the whole, like, I guess, stool situation.
Yeah, I get it. And I just want to ask you too, like, how different do you feel walking around in this new body, living in this new body versus the old body?
I feel light. I feel like I feel like I'm I know I am in an energy body now. I don't feel like I'm living in flesh anymore. It's very interesting because I feel like a lot of people can hear this and it will make no sense to them because they may have never experienced this level of like being on this frequency. And so to say that I don't even feel like I'm living in a body anymore, like a 3D fleshly body, it doesn't make sense to the ordinary regular person. But for me, I see myself as literally a spirit. I feel like a spirit. I feel like I'm flying around and I'm living so in the present moment that I'm literally life itself expressing itself in this body. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I feel amazing.
Yeah. You're just so connected and in tune. And I love it at this age too. It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to have come to this awareness so soon. I know it can take people into, I don't like saying old age, but it can take a lot of experience to even start becoming aware that the life you're living doesn't value you or that it doesn't align with you anymore. And I also think it took a lot of trauma that I experienced in my past to want to break away from that patterns and that way of living so soon. When I finally broke away from that household, I was on a journey I was on a mission to be completely different. my whole life, I wasn't like anyone in my household, but now that I was completely free, I really could just bask. And sorry, I got an Amber Alert.
Oh,
I
sorry,
could, yeah, I didn't know if it like got rid of the video, but I could just finally completely bask in my authenticity and find who I truly am. Because I mean, I've always known who I was, but I was still living through these conditions of what I grew up and saw. So I had to
With all the trauma, I feel like with the trauma and with everything you've been through, I feel like part of this journey of like your higher self and living your best life is learning to forgive. And it sounds like you went through a lot of trauma and negative things in your household and stuff. So have you worked on forgiveness to those people for that? And do you have any tips for people like how to let go and working on forgiveness? Or are you still working on that?
No, I love everybody. I love every single person in this world. I don't care what may have happened to me, and I don't see anything as bad in my life because I now know that everything that shows up in my reality serves a purpose. It has its purpose. And even if those things may look like abuse and horrible things that people would hate somebody for, I've now learned to appreciate. I've learned to appreciate because I've learned to alchemize it. And I've learned that being through the lowest of lows, it can only shoot you up into the highest of highs if you allow yourself to get there. You know, you can't be on one side of the spectrum and not also know the other or be able to obtain the other side of the spectrum. And so I love the people who have quote unquote hurt me the most. I don't see them as hurting me though anymore. I thank them, and they may not be in my life anymore. I don't need that kind of energy in my life. But
that sounds like you wouldn't attract that type of trauma environment energy now. Do you know what I mean? You're on like such a high.
Yeah, I don't resonate with how they live, but I will continue to unconditionally love them from afar. Because I have learned what unconditional love is. When these people are living in conditional love, they only love you with expectations of needing something from you in return, you know. But I'm going to love them no matter what, through the hurt, through them not ever being in my life again, you know. They may never change, but I'm going to stick in loving me. And through loving me, you know, I love everything else because I'm connected to everything.
I love that. I love that. Do you think they've seen you and like this transformation you've had or no?
No. They don't know anything about what's going on with me. I don't know anything that's going on with them either, but that's fine. That's fine.
You're doing amazing. You are really doing, this is so incredible. I love your journey. And so does everyone. A lot of people know you already when I reached out to the questions. So I'll ask you a few more questions. Somebody said too, your teeth cleaning ritual, and if you've had any teeth issues being on the fruit. I know people are scared of that. So what's been your story with that?
So that's another thing. My whole life, I actually had an issue with a receding gum line on the bottom, right? And through the journey, you know, I was a little worried because astringent fruits, you know, they can cause acidity in the mouth. The thing is, if you eat an acid fruit, it alkalizes once ingested in the body. But when it's in the mouth, it's not alkalized yet. So you do have to be cautious with too much acid being in the mouth, or else you could have the eroding and all of these, you know, oral issues. But what I recommend, because I've actually had healing in the mouth, is unrefined cold pressed coconut oil pooling.
It's the best.
It's the best. And my receding gum line, I kid you not, Jillian, like the tissue is growing back. Like there was bone in between the teeth that looked like it started to maybe erode away. Like it looks like the bone is growing back as well. It's healthier. My mouth is healthier. So I would wake up every morning and I would do the coconut oil pooling. I would actually add herbs into it as well that can help heal the mouth from any infections, you know, cavities, all of that, alkalize the mouth. The herbs is like comfrey roots, horsetail, white oak bark, things like that. It's in a powder form, and I'll put it in my coconut oil and I'll swish it in my mouth for about 20 to 30 minutes every morning. And You can do it for 5 minutes if you start off, that's still going to benefit you. That's great. But I do recommend, like, if you're just walking around, making your tea, getting ready, just swish it in your mouth for 30 minutes. The longer you go, the better. And I really want to say that is why, like, I literally have tissue growing back in my mouth. So
it's so good.
You do it. You do it as well.
I used to do it every morning. I just haven't been doing it. I have to get, but I bought a new coconut oil though to start doing that again. It's so good for your dental care.
There's nothing better you could do for your oral health, in my opinion. Like, it's antibacterial, anti-inflammation. It's just any health issue you have or oral issue you have, like, get on the coconut oil. You will see great results from it. And so, yeah, I didn't notice anything crazy with my mouth, good. But I definitely stayed on top of it,
Good.
Because,
and I want to ask you, like, in those early days when, you said you were like on the couch all the time, you were depressed, like you were just eating crap, you like were so depressed, everything. Like, how did you get through from there to here? Like, how did you get through those hard moments in the beginning? I think that can be the hardest when our taste buds haven't changed yet. And we're still addicted to the crappy foods. We're still in our depressive thoughts. Like, how did you get through those hard moments in the beginning where it would have been easy just to grab a pizza? And then instead you were grabbing like the medical medium salad or smoothie in those days and then transition into fruit. Like, how did you get through those moments?
Oh, well, so I did grow up with like, the eating disorders and all that, but I also did grow up seeing a mom very health conscious at the same time. So I did grow up on a lot of salads and maybe healthier foods in the household. So being on healthy foods, like, wasn't that big of an issue for me. It was easy for me to transition to because I actually liked the taste of like vegetables and fruits. So, some people really don't like the taste of fruits and veggies, but I absolutely love them regardless, So, but the thing I do want to tell people is they see my 104 days on grapes and they want to jump into 104 grapes. And I'm like, guys, like, I myself didn't even jump straight into the 104 days. I had to ease my way into it with like fruits and veggies, and you can still add in maybe chickpeas, maybe a cooked sweet potato if you want a sweet potato, but do what is comfortable for you. You don't need to base your experience or put yourself in experience based off mine. Live your own journey and do what your inner self is guiding you to do. Your inner self may be guiding you to do fruits and veggies, maybe adding in some cooked chickpeas for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That is okay because that is your journey. And then maybe eventually it'll lead you down into all fruits, And for me,
when you were on the grapes, like, what was your protocol? Like, how many were you eating a day? Do you remember? Because a lot of people will ask that. And like, when I did it, I ate a wide variety. That was one thing I liked about the Grape Cleanse. You can have cotton candy grapes, green grapes, red grapes, like all these different types. Did you do that? Or what was your protocol if people are wondering what you did every day?
Yeah. So I know people are like, I can't do that. That has to be so expensive. Like, you probably ate like 5 to 6 bags of grapes a day. And I was like, no, actually, I mean, yeah, my stomach was definitely bigger when I first started. Like, I had an increased appetite than I do now, a more increased appetite. But I was eating maybe around 2 bags a day, like at most.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I wasn't as hungry. Like, my stomach obviously was shrinking, and that's good. That's part of the process, when your body's not eating and digesting, it's healing. And so I actually only ate once a day on top of everything as well. Like, I was intermittent fasting every day. I was eating maybe around 2 or 3. I just ate when my body told me I was hungry. But the thing is, if you were hungry, just eat. Just eat.
And the great thing is with those cleanses, like, you can eat as much as you want. You're still cleansing and having like such a huge transformation.
Yeah. And I was trying to stick with the darker grapes only, like the red grapes and the purple black grapes, because those are more astringent than the green grapes. Mm-hmm. So they're more detoxifying. They're more acid pulling, like to remove from the body. So I wanted to stick to the darker ones. But the funny thing is, if I ever wanted to treat myself, I would treat myself to a green grape. I'd be like, let me go get myself a green grape, and I would maybe eat those for a little bit. It gave me a new variety, I guess, to, but if I did have intense cravings, I would just go grab more grapes. I didn't just force myself to eat once a day.
Mm-hmm.
I just naturally kind of got in the habit of only being hungry during that one time throughout the day. But
cleansing then, doing that.
Yeah, for sure, because I'm allowing my body to hit autophagy if I'm only eating like every 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say too, a lot of times when you start eating healthier or you start these cleanses, like you can feel, it's very common, in my opinion, to feel very bloated in the beginning and to think maybe this isn't working, like I'm bloated, what the heck and stuff. But then it can just take a bit of time for your bowels to get moving and get adjusted to what you're doing. And then like your stomach gets better than ever. You feel your digestion gets better than ever. You feel better than ever. So like, don't be discouraged if like you go to start and you're a couple days in and you're like, I'm bloated. I feel like crap. What the heck? Because it can take it feel good sometimes, right?
Exactly. Everything needs an adjustment period though, like, because I know people maybe will experience constipation on grapes when they first get on them. I know the skins of them can cause constipation, but you have to trust the fruit. The fruit isn't there to harm you. The fruit isn't hurting you. It is only putting life into you. And if you're constipated, just trust that your body knows what it's doing in that time. You're not going to be constipated forever. The grapes are going to work its magic, and eventually you're going to get going. But just give the body as much time as it needs. You can't force the body to do anything. You got to understand you are not the one in control in all of this. The body is its own entity. And that's what I had to learn, so yeah. Oh, and I know a lot of people also were asking how much water I drank. And Yeah, and I didn't drink water unless it was herbal teas, because I do have a lot of herbs that I incorporated as well. It helps you, receive a lot more minerals and vitamins that the body may need throughout the process. I don't recommend just grabbing an herb and feeling like that's going to heal you. Your lifestyle plays a huge role on if your herbal teas are going to help aid in your healing. You got to make sure your pathways are open and clearing out before the herbs can come in and heal that area of the body. If you're backed up, the herb, I'm sorry, isn't going to do much for you. The herb is like the cool sidekick to the hero. And the hero is the fruit, But the water, I didn't drink any water. I wasn't thirsty. But when you really learn what hydration comes from, you learn that we don't even become hydrated from H2O. H2O has to be converted to H3O2 in the body to become hydrated. And where does the source of H3O2 come from? It comes from fruits. So why would I not?
Eating fruit, it's so high in water content, right? That's one of the reasons I'm raw vegan, because I feel so much better eating the raw food because it has the enzymes and it has the water in it, right? Versus if it's cooked, like a lot of the water is completely removed, right? Then it's harder to digest. You need more water. Your digestion's not as good. My thoughts and head aren't as good. So yeah, that's so true. But I still drink water though, but I eat greens and stuff too. But I still do believe in drinking water. Do you drink any water now, or you're still off like all water?
If it's in my herbal teas, like it's water. But, think about if you're eating watermelon all day, like mono eating watermelon, like do you think you would want like a glass of water throughout the day?
You're so hydrated when you're doing that.
You would feel so satiated and hydrated, but it's because the fruits are hydrating you. It is the most optimal hydration the body needs and receives. And that is, it's not having to put in extra work to convert to H3O2 like it does with water.
Someone was asking how old you were in each picture. So they're referring to the picture that I put on the community tab, which I'll try put the before and after on the screen right now. So the before you have the red hair, and then after you're with the blonde hair, like now. So what age, is that just like 1 year apart? What is that?
So I meant to go back and look at the dates on that because I did see that comment, but I want to say it was less than a year.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's crazy. That's like crazy. It's just such a transformation to me.
Yeah, because I mean, I've only been on this journey for maybe half a year now.
Do you feel
You
like
know?
there's a difference in how people treat you? Some people come on the channel and say that, like, if you're walking around, like the way guys treat you or the way people treat you, like then versus now, or no?
I feel people see my confidence now, and I wasn't standing in my confidence before. And I was a people pleaser. And so people really loved me for that reason. They wanted to have me around because they knew I would be there for their every need. I would set my needs aside for them, but I don't do that anymore. I am my highest priority. I only care about me because if I'm not okay, then I can't care about you. You know, I can't care for you. I can't pour into your cup if my cup is not full. And I think that is more intimidating now to the people who could have used to feel like they could run over me. You know, those people I don't even think show up in my reality anymore. I am only surrounded by those who support me, but that's all I choose to look at. I don't look at the negative comments. You know, I only look at who is there in this journey as well, who's also supporting me in my path, and I support them in their path, and just loving exchanges. That's all I see in my reality. And I believe it's because of who I've become that is all that is here and present, you know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, what is happening within is what shows without, you know. So I believe that because what is happening within me, which is love, peace, joy, enlightenment, that is all that I am going to see in my experience, in my reality. So, yeah.
And it sounds like this last year, like it's 2024 now, but it sounds like maybe 2023 was the best year of your life. No, that's what I'm guessing.
It's the most transforming transforming time period of my life.
Yeah.
But I've learned to appreciate and thank every version of me, because even in those hardest moments, that person was always still guided into who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Whether she knew it or not, she was always going to get herself right here, right now. And so I thank myself for every version that I've been in. But I see every day is the best day of my life. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here to share this experience for people who are searching for answers for themselves, because it can be easy to doubt when you see a lot of people doubting this lifestyle, and people will speak on this lifestyle and they haven't even done it themselves. And that's why I say knowledge applied gives you the wisdom. You have to apply the knowledge you've learned in order to really speak on if you truly know it or not. Mm-hmm. And so to the people who doubt it, how about you try it then? See if it works. And you know what? 9 times out of, or honestly, I believe every person who is doubting it would have to swallow their pride, who hated and spoke badly on this lifestyle, because it would completely transform their lives.
So true. You know? And how's the juice cleanse? You're on day 6, like nothing, because like I said, I've done some fruit cleansing and juice cleansing. Juice cleansing is my favorite. Nothing makes me feel better. I absolutely freaking love it. And especially by day 6, you're feeling like really good. So are you enjoying it?
I absolutely love it. And it's because like, I know I'm not eating anything, but I'm getting a lot more variety of fruits now. You know, most of my journey has just been like mono eating the grapes. And then I was like mono eating the apples for 11 days. So I've just been on like one fruit. But now with the juicing, it's like I get to try all these new things now. Like I can just do like orange juice, grapefruit juice. Yesterday I did cantaloupe, and it was just the flavors, my taste buds, everything is intense. Nature, like everything tastes like candy, but like nature's candy, and it's so fulfilling. And I'm enjoying the juice because I feel light. I don't feel like anything is sitting in my stomach at all. Even though eating fruits as well, you feel light and energetic and great, but there's literally nothing there. I just feel hydrated. You know, it's like it's on another level of feeling alive. So I'm excited to continue it. I don't have like a set date on that as well, but I've really become so in tune with my body and intuitively connected to my highest self and that guide, that I will know when it's time to stop. I will know when I may want to add in other fruits, you know, but the time is not now. I'm going to continue for who knows how long, but I take it moment by moment.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the juices have been great. Yesterday, I actually had my first like young coconut, I think.
Yeah.
Like it was cut already for me.
Yeah.
And I could just like open up like with a straw through the top. Like they made it easy to drink.
Oh yeah, I get those at the Asian market here now. Yeah, you just put the straw through. Yeah, those are so good. Young Thai coconuts. I crack those open myself a lot, or get the ones with the straw. There's nothing like it. It's like that's the one like liquid definitely meant for our body. You know, it feels so good.
Did you know that coconut water is the closest thing to a mother's breast milk?
Yeah,
that you could. Yeah. And if that doesn't tell you like the nutrients and the vitamins that it holds within it, like the coconut water, like I don't know what else would. Like that's
and
so
it's like, and I feel like it doesn't even matter what things tell you. Just go by how it makes you feel. When I drink coconut water, I know it feels like that is meant for me. It feels so good, you know, it tastes so good. I love coconut water on juice fasting too. And somebody was asking with your juice fast, they said, did you juice? Well, yeah, you're on day 6. And did you feel weak? They said, I did 3 days fruit and was tired, no energy at all. And then heard other people's hair fell off. So did she stop on day 3? That's the thing. That's why I say too, like it can take a few days. Usually if I do a cleanse, sometimes it takes till like day 4 to start feeling like really good. So I think like
especially
3 days.
Yeah, especially in the very beginning. I agree with you with what you're saying, because I don't know what kind of lifestyle you've been on previously, or how you may have more toxins built up than the next person.
Yeah.
You know, so you're going to have to go through weakness. You're going to have to go through detox symptoms and what will feel like literal hell in the body. But you have to understand that on the other side is liberation. It's the best feeling in the world. And you got to want that for yourself. If you don't truly want that for yourself, you're not gonna go through with it. You have to really be set on wanting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and did you, I know with feeling weak, like if I'm doing a juice cleanse, I drink a lot. This is like, I think 32 ounces. This glass might be a little bit less, but I drink a lot of 32 ounces. Like many times I'll drink like 8, and then I'll drink coconut water too in a day. Like I think for most people, like I live a busy life and I know a lot of people do. So I think the key is drinking a lot of juice too for most people. So I know like even on a raw vegan diet or juicing, if I'm not like consuming enough, I would probably feel weak too. So I think that's the reason why I don't. And I mean, I know they mentioned the hair loss. I never experienced any of that on any of my cleanses. And same with raw. My hair is so much better. Like I've done videos on that. Like it's such a huge transformation from before. But what about you? Like, thanks. It's a little dark right now because it's cold Toronto winter. I'm not outside as much, but it lightens in the summer. But have you lost any hair like through all the fruit cleansing and anything? Has that been any issue? Have you supplemented at all too?
No, if anything, my hair was damaged and thinning, and I was getting a lot of hair loss before this lifestyle. And you can tell this is my natural hair now. I've gone such a natural route with everything.
I was going to ask you. That's like your natural color now, right?
Yes. And everything, like I had the red hair, but everything that I had before is cut off. Like this is all new. It is healthy. It's going back thicker. I don't notice like damage. It's softer. Like my hair is healthier, better than it's ever been in my life. And I'm sure you may have hair loss throughout, like if you're detoxing, you know, that could be a healing crisis for you. Mm-hmm. But I don't see like you losing like half your head of hair. Like you may shed a bit, but no, your hair is going to become healthy. I mean, look at Jillian. Like her, like it's literally picture perfect.
It's so healthy, raw. Like I'll try to put a picture on the screen if I can. If not, I'll try to link the hair video. But my hair didn't used to even grow. And it's like, it's so healthy. I had to cut a few months ago in LA and I was so mad because it was so short, but it's grown back since then really fast. And it used to be so frail and break. And like, I couldn't grow it long because it would look bad because it was so thin. I've always had fine hair. So I don't have like thick hair. I come from a family of like fine blonde hair, but it's so healthy. Like it's such a huge difference. It's just so healthy.
You have the hair, if you're searching on like inspiration on Pinterest.
Thanks.
I'm shocked you're not on there, to be honest.
Thank you. That's so nice. Thanks. I take pride in my hair. I take good care of it. And like, I think sea moss gel helps now too. I add that in. I make some of that in my smoothies and stuff like that. And all these different variety of foods, avocados, all these different things, you know?
See, but that's another thing with living such a natural lifestyle on the fruits is I've gone away from the shampoos, the conditioners. I don't feel, it doesn't feel normal for me to be on social media either. Like, I honestly wish I could detach myself from it, but it is unfortunately how we connect, you know, in this day and age. But I use like apple cider vinegar and water to wash my hair. I use flaxseed powder and boil it to make a hair mask if I need conditioning. Like, I've gone all natural. I don't use deodorant. Like, I use lemons if I feel like I
diet at all, right? You don't diet?
I don't want diet. Oh no. I don't. No.
I used to dye mine years and years ago. Like, I can't remember the last time I dyed it. It was probably between 7 and 10 years ago, probably 8 to 10 years ago. And it's just so much healthier too, not dyeing it.
And you know, what's funny. I actually had gotten my cosmetology license. I have my cosmetology license.
Wow.
So, but I don't resonate with putting chemicals on people's hair, and because it literally soaks through the scalp. Why would you want to do that to your body? My body is my temple now. I want to respect it in every way possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I have gone all natural with things. Like, I don't do perfumes or anything either. But when you learn what perfumes are, I hate to go off track, but have you ever smelled like pesticide, fungicide, insecticide sprayed outside? Like in the field?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Like, I have heard that it smells exactly like the perfumes and the colognes that are in our perfume bottles.
Wow, crazy. Most perfumes bother me. I have like a couple I wear because they don't bother me at all. They're like these vegan ones that smell really nice and they don't. But most of them, I'm just like, oh, my nose is itching and they're bothering me. Like, maybe because I don't know. But I found a couple. Yeah.
No, I've become super sensitive to perfumes. If people spray them around me, I almost have to remove myself from that environment. I can't. It's too much to breathe in. And I don't know. If anything, I think my body's so intuitive. It knows that it's toxic and it doesn't want to be around it.
It does. So. It does. And somebody was asking too, did she get her period regularly being on such a low fat diet? I've never missed a period. Just saying, people always ask me all the time. 7 years raw. I've never missed one. They're super regular. I'm about to get it tomorrow, the next day. Sorry, TMI. But have you missed a period through all this or no?
Well, have you actually heard that when you fully optimally cleanse the woman's body, that she
you're not supposed to have a period? That's what some people say. Do you believe that? I don't know. I wish God would give me the manual with everything because I don't know.
I do believe it because I haven't gotten mine for the whole 6 months.
Wow, you haven't had a period for 6 months? No way. Wow.
Yeah, it's completely gone, and I don't feel. Because I'm intuitive with my body. I trust if anything is going on, but I feel healthy, and you know, with with all that as well. But I don't think it's natural for a woman to
that. Like, do you think you still ovulate? Like, I know when I ovulate because I can tell my sex drive is like higher. It's around like the, you know.
Well, you can see it too, right? Like when you're wiping, like
I know, I just know too. Like when I'm ovulating, I can feel the differences in my body, and I just know, and I know when I ovulate every month, and then like a couple weeks after that, my period comes. So, do you think you're still ovulating? Like, say you want to have a baby, that would be no problem.
I mean, I don't want kids. Like, that is not anything that I see being in my, lifetime. But who knows? I take everything day by day. But I do think I am, or I want to say I know I am still ovulating. Like, I feel perfectly great. And like, I notice things like still functioning how they need to be down there.
That's good.
And I just haven't received my period. But I also don't think it's natural for us to think that a woman should be hunched over in pain and bleeding sometimes quarts and quarts and quarts of blood a day. That's not normal.
That's one thing I notice. Like, people ask me too. One thing I've noticed, fortunately, with being raw, my periods are very regular. It's like every 28 days. I calculate it so I know when it's coming, and I have to do that because I get no symptoms. Like, I don't get like, way back, I get cramps, all this. Like, I don't get any of that now. I'm just like, oops, I got my period. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's just like that. But I do still get a period. But yeah, it's not like I don't have, but I do get a little bit of PMS and a little bit tired 2 days before it comes. That's it. But I do get a little bit moody before it comes, but
even like cravings too, maybe. Because I think sometimes I notice, oh, I feel a little bit more hungry during this time. And I know in the past, like I noticed like a week before I got my period, I felt like I could eat everything in sight. Yeah. And so I do notice my appetite maybe raising up a bit, maybe for a week throughout the month. And I'm like, okay, maybe that was what, you know, it used to be like in the past, but I'm just not getting my period now, you know, but my body's still like on that functioning of like the ovulating and,
that's so good. Wow. Yeah. And you're obviously doing amazing. Look at you. You're glowing. You're literally a beacon light while the sunshine hits on you. And somebody said, you what?
Oh, I love the sun. I eat it up.
I need more sun, you guys. Well, it's just in New York. I love New York. I don't even care if was no sun when I was there. I love it. It's my favorite city in the whole world. And I live in Toronto, but I need more sun. I go to Florida in the winters though. But somebody said, did her voice change, or in the summer, did it become more youthful once on a fruit lifestyle? I noticed my voice has changed since before Rod. Have you noticed your voice change or no?
I feel like it's really interesting because then you have to really think back on what did I sound like, you know? Like, yeah, because you listen to other people a lot, but like listening to your own voice is such a very different experience. But I would say maybe it's gotten more feminine because I've gotten so in tune with my femininity and that divine feminine side of me that I think I sound a lot softer when I talk. I've always been a soft-spoken person, but I guess maybe just more light. You know, I think I used to talk more, I was more in my like masculine energy. So I think I may have came on very maybe deep toned or monotoned in the past. I speak with a lot of love and light now, and I'm sure that has altered, you know, the tone in my voice as well. But
it's funny you say that. I guess I'm into like my feminine energy now and was way more into masculine before being raw. Now that you say that, it's weird. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, you asking that question now, it's like something I haven't even really thought about until right now. So, yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool. I like that question.
She has food addiction. What helped her continue the fast without going back for the bad food?
Well, I mean, I did struggle with food addiction my whole life. I did say earlier, but I feel like if you're hungry, like I said earlier as well, eat more. Like there is no limit to how much you can eat. And no one's telling you to go on grapes only. Like if you want to eat a whole variety of fruits and vegetables and all of that, like do that and eat as much as feels good to you and what satiates you. That will cut addiction, you know? But the whole thing with like being on living foods is that your body will actually feel satiated. When you're on the like standard American diet, it's like empty calories. And I think that's why we get so adjusted to like eating and eating and eating, and we don't feel like we're being fueled up, but it's because we're not actually eating real food. We're eating garbage. And so now that you eat real food, you will start to notice that you will feel full. You know, and the cravings will eventually go away.
It's true. That's the thing. Yeah. And your taste buds change. Like, cause I used to I used to never think I could go without like cheese and wine and coffee and bread and like these things. And now like, they don't even cross my mind ever. Like, you know what I mean?
Cheese was my weakness, girl. I loved cheese, but you know, we were talking about coconut water, and I used to hate coconut water. Like in the past, coconut water tasted like, it was disgusting to me. Like, don't put it in my face. I'm not going to drink it. I won't even take a sip of it. But now it tastes like literal cereal milk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's super sweet. And when I say all fruit just tastes like nature's like candy, it does. And when you look at the standard American diet, you see that a lot of it has to do with like refined sugar and processed sugar. So you're addicted to these bad sugars, but the sugars in the fruits, which people think are harmful, it's a life-giving sugar. It's a sugar that your body actually needs to thrive on. So, being on the standard American diet, it shows that we naturally are craving the sugars, but it's not satisfying us. But you go to the fruits and you are still getting the sugar, but in a more satisfactory way, in a more efficient way. And it's going to fulfill you and it will satiate you.
And I'm guessing you don't have the heart palpitations or anything anymore, right?
Oh no. All that's gone. Like any skin issues I had, inflammation, it's gone.
Amazing.
Yeah, the pain gone. Like I said, the digestive issues, I don't know how long that may take. And it's because I know I still experience like diarrhea here and there. I know my body's still expelling a bunch of mucus. Like I have to keep wiping under my nose. I notice my ears still feel like clogged up at times, which is like your lymphatic system is a little backed up, in the head area. If you feel any of those things. But yeah, a lot of what I was feeling though has dissipated. A lot of the things that were holding me back and was putting me in the state of fear, the constant state of fear every day, isn't there anymore.
Amazing.
Whatever is being released right now is just maybe the old foods, that I was eating in the past.
And okay, we just have a couple quick questions. I know somebody was asking if it was hard for you not having any fats, like having like such a low fat. Did you ever feel that you were lacking fat? Have you felt like that or no? Like, are you craving the fats at all or no? Do you have avocados over time or no? Like, have you had any avocados over the time and stuff or no?
No, like I said, most of this journey has been, the grapes so far. So I'm just now starting to add in like more variety and things like that. And I'm juicing right now, so I'm not even really eating, but I'm still getting more variety through like different fruit juices and all that. But the fats, I don't really know. I would say that would go hand in hand with cravings, so if I'm craving fats, like, I guess I would try and redirect, because I used to love the mayos, like the mayos and the cheeses and like all of those things. But I think now I'll try to redirect my body to want to crave like a fruit that may have fat in it. So like avocado. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to think about avocado because I don't want to think about cheeses right now. Like that's not good for me to think about. But I don't eat any fat, and honestly, I've been trying to stay away from fat because I didn't know what was really going on with my body. But if it was a liver issue, you don't want to be stuffing your body with fats. You actually want to go on a low fat diet, So I don't mind being off of fats for as long as I have. I'm sure in the future, like I'll be eating avocado. I love avocado.
Yeah,
I could probably mono eat avocado for days and absolutely thrive in it.
Yeah.
Because I do love like fatty foods, but they are heavier,
Heavier. Yeah. You feel it. And what did you break your grape cleanse with? I don't think I asked you, like, what did you break the cleanse with? I mean, you're still cleansing on the fruit anyway, but like, what did you have to end it?
Honestly, I completely forgot to mention this, but I went into a lemon juice cleanse for 15 days.
Wow.
After the grape.
And that didn't hurt your teeth? If that's not going to hurt your teeth, then you're good.
Oh, I drank it through a straw.
Lemon with lemons with water? Just lemon juice?
Undiluted. You can, the whole process that I found on this was doing 3 to 5 lemons 3 times a day, like, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I like to do it like in a more simple process. So I did like 6 to 8 lemons twice a day. And I drank that undiluted. Those were my meals. And let me tell you, I got more detox symptoms and I noticed more coming out of my body than on the grapes being on the lemon juice. Because you got to think like how like acid pulling they are. They're very astringent. They're more astringent than grapes, but the crazy thing is at first it was a little hard to get the lemon juice down, of course, like it's super sour. But by day like 5, the lemon juice started tasting sweet. Like it started tasting like lemonade, and I wasn't even adding sweetener or diluting it in any way. my taste buds were changing and I was growing to love the lemon juice. Like I honestly could have went longer on 15 days because it gave me so much energy. I felt so connected, and that was also a very beautiful experience. And I definitely had to close out my journey with the grapes with a bang, I guess, on the lemons.
I've never heard of that. Good for you. Well, you've had all these amazing experiences and they each make you feel different. They're like healing in their own right and all these different things. I love it. And somebody said would be interested in how grounded she felt while eating fruit and if she felt more intuitive. You definitely felt more intuitive, I would say. But did you find you feel grounding? That's what I like about the vegetables. They make me feel more grounded. But did you still feel, I guess you did still feel grounded with the fruit even, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel so grounded that like I have to almost eat or drink whatever my meal is outside with nature. Mm-hmm. Like I go outside barefoot and I eat. That's how I consume. That's how I show my appreciation and give back. You know, I speak to my fruits before I even eat them because I see them as separate from me, you know? And so if these fruits are being shown appreciation before they enter my body, I can only imagine that they're going to help me even more.
It's like the studies with the water. It shows like the water under a microscope, like the crystals and the way it looks changes the way we like the energy we give it and the way we talk to it. If we talk like hate, it shows like these hateful crystals. If we talk like love, it shows like, you know what I mean, right? I'll try to put that chart on the screen right now, that water thing. It's so cool. So that makes sense with the food too, right? And it's like the plants we have, if we give them love and music and things, they thrive. And if not, then they decay, right?
Yeah, words and energy is very powerful. So, you know, the fruits have definitely made me more sensitive to everything in life. If I accidentally like throw a plate or a cup or something too hard in the dishwasher and it makes a loud noise, like I'll apologize to the plate because I see everything as outside of myself. I see everything as holding its own energy, and I don't want anything to feel that I'm showing any form of disrespect. I want to show love and compassion to everything. So even a simple cup that gets placed too harshly down in the sink, I'm apologizing to it. You know, my heart has grown like abound. It has spread lengths that I never thought could be possible. So
love that. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. This has been so incredible having you on. And I want to know too, like, do you have any advice for somebody watching maybe who feels like the old you did? Any advice or inspiration? Anything you think we missed to help try inspire somebody to get to a better place or to stick to their healthy lifestyle or anything like that? And let everybody know where they can find you. I think you have a YouTube channel too, right? Somebody was asking.
I do, but I haven't been editing videos, and I saw that comment and I was like, maybe I should start uploading. Maybe people would be interested.
Videos for sure.
Yeah, because now I'm really just sharing my day to day. I want people to see that I really am doing this. It's now like I can hold myself accountable, but now like it's a different form of accountability, putting myself out there for everyone to watch and maybe help inspire them even more when they actually see me doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But for anyone who is thinking about a healing journey in whatever way it may be, I just want you to continuously put yourself first. You know, don't look for anything outside of yourself. Everything will come from within. You are your own guide. Love on you as much as possible because no one's going to love you into loving you. You have to learn how to love you. And once you love you, that's where the healing begins, you know, and I'm proud of anyone who is on the search and on the hunt for bettering themselves because the only one who can put the work in is you. And so if you're here, thank you for being here because I know you're trying to learn. And I thank you for watching Jillian's post that she posts because the work you do, Jillian, it's amazing. It spreads awareness and it is helping people who are looking for answers. It helped me in a time when I needed, you know, extra clarity on things. And I got to see other people in this lifestyle, you know, when I felt like I was alone, I felt less alone. So thank you, you know.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
You've been amazing. You're so incredible. I love your story. And I can just see there's so much more than meets the eye. Even when I saw your Instagram post and the huge like physical transformation before and after, there's been an even deeper and larger internal transformation. I can tell. And you're so wise, even like so wise beyond your years. So spiritual, so in touch with your higher self and what really matters and what really is. So I just want to say, I think that's amazing. And everybody go follow Faith. She's on Instagram under Faith Finds Fruit, right?
Faith Finds Fruit. And then I think on Instagram, it's Faith Finds Fruit 777. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying sharing my journey. And that has become another fulfillment for my life because I'm being of service to others. And that's the greatest fulfillment that you can have, is to be of service to others and showing that love and all of that. So yeah, I'm here taking everything day by day, and I'm glad to have people, you know, come along and be here with me.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. You've been so wonderful. And I can't wait to see where you're headed. And we'll have to have you back in the future for updates and see what's going on. It's so exciting.
Yeah. We need to stay connected for sure. I love your energy. I love your post. And keep doing what you're doing. I know you work hard, and I take time for you, girl. I'm sure you do, but you know.
I have 2 young kids too, so it's hard, but one day it'll balance out a bit more, but I do my best.
That's the biggest thing, is balance.
Yeah.
You have to learn balance, and you will know when you feel out of balance, when you're in tune with yourself. You feel it. You know, you feel it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing and inspiring. I'm sure you've inspired people so much. And I'll link your stuff below. So everybody go follow Faith. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe for more amazing, inspiring videos just like this one. And I'll put 2 of my favorite interviews on the screen right now as well, if you guys want to lead into those. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.